Hello, gorgeous, gorgeous people on the internet. Today is Battlefield 6 close slash open early access beta period day 1. And let me tell you, man, the gameplay you're seeing in the background, the very first gameplay that I recorded. Yeah, this is all I can record. My PC can't really handle anything more. So I try to make this whole talk under about 20 minutes because that's however much gameplay I have, and I don't want to bore you with anything other than Battlefield 6 at this current moment. So, what do I think about the open beta? You may be able to hear the soundtrack in the background. Let me just mute that real quick. So, what do I think about it? I think it plays fantastically. I've actually had so many moments that I would have really liked to record, but so far the open beta does not support Xbox play that back kind of captures, which is really disappointing because that means that I'm gonna have to, do this video and then, what I'm saying, like clear up storage and whatever to be able to record more, because I do want to record more. I feel like this game is genuinely gonna be a mega superstar when it comes to shooters, just based off quality alone. So let me talk about the movement. The movement feels great. I don't care what anybody says. Literally, not a single opinion can detract from this. The movement is nowhere near fast, and it is nowhere near slow. It genuinely feels like the Goldilocks movement speed that every FPS should try to even come close to. The gunplay. The gunplay, I think, is very smooth. Playing it on console, you actually do see recoil. Maybe that's because maybe that's the guns maybe just a little bit overtuned. I don't know. No, I suck. I suck at aiming. But on console, you actually do see recoil, and not like on PC, where PC Battlefield has always been laser beams. So to see that in the open beta, not surprising now in hindsight. But actually getting my hands on it, you can, like with the M4 in particular, if you have no attachments on the M4, you can shoot it, but at longer ranges, that bounce and kick can just spell your death, If the enemy has anything like a DMR or a sniper rifle, or even a slightly more kitted out assault rifle, the recoil definitely does have an impact in the game, is what I'll try to say. The weapon balance so far, I feel like, is pretty great, actually. The DMRs, they kick high, so even if you're in their line of sights, unless they're wearing iron sights, which in that case, they're putting themselves at a disadvantage in some sense, where they can't see as far, then they'll be able to see more of the gun bounce up. But like if you have an ACOG and a DMR, like I was trying to use one, it kicks up so much with no attachments that it does actually prevent me from accurately really getting like a body shot headshot kind of combo. So the gun balance and the sniper rifles too, I feel like I was getting appropriate damage whenever I shot anybody anywhere. It didn't feel like they were too overpowered or too cheap, which is actually a really big accomplishment, because notoriously sniper rifles have had the most contingent, most like chaotic kind of balancing, where they're either the worst weapons in the game or the best weapons in the game. COD notoriously has had this problem where, you get snipe, I guess. It gets cool, I guess. But in Battlefield, the balance seems just right. I don't know about the sweet spot mechanic yet, because on the one hand, personally, taking a look at my KD, I would very much be glad of this feature returning, because that means whenever I play Recon, I have a higher chance of not going double negative, just maybe one negative. And, it would help players out like me, but I can understand if people don't want it and it gets removed. I can totally see that. But What else? The pistols, so far, we only have the one pistol, I think. The pistol is pretty shit, but it's not like a Battlefield 1 pistol, is what I'm trying to say, where I want the pistols to kind of be like, to kind of have this role where in place of shotguns, where it's just like one shot to the body. We'll get to the shotguns later. But actually, right after this, the pistols take a center point when you are entering like a building or something with very close quarters, where 2 shots/3, if the gun is like fast firing, could be the end all for an enemy encounter. Especially if you get like upper body shots. Like, I feel like that kind of balance should come back in some way. I feel like it makes pistol gameplay more refined and more fun in FPS games, because having a strong pistol doesn't mean that it outclasses other weapons. You obviously have to hit your shots, low magazine capacity, and you know the range is really bad. But that's the thing, is that shotguns are the same way, but they're an insta kill. Pistols, you actually have to hit multiple shots, so if the enemy ducks or weaves or straves, you can actually avoid some shots if they're playing too cocky, like, oh, I know you're gonna move there, but oh no, I actually moved over here and I shot you in the head. That kind of gameplay happened in Battlefield 1, actually, which is why I do hope it makes a return. And with the 45 plus weapon the amount at launch that supposedly is coming, seeing as how we only have about 15 to 20 weapons in the beta given, roughly, and how many attachments you can put on them, I feel like the full launch is going to be full of options. I feel like there's going to be a machine pistol even. There's definitely going to be some kind of Desert Eagle, a revolver, one shot, but you have to be very accurate or something kind of pistol. There's definitely going to be a slightly stronger semi-automatic and a slightly weaker semi-automatic with more ammo or higher fire rate. I feel like we're going to get those options at launch. Now, the shotguns. There's the one shotgun that we have so far. You know, obviously with me at the helm, you know, I'm getting some kills. But the kills that I'm getting sometimes are kind of ridiculous. Like, I'm not gonna lie. At like a 14, 15 meter range, I literally shot this guy, upper chest and head given. But still, I shot him but it was 14 to 15 meters away. It looked like it was really far, I'm not gonna lie. I was like standing on the ground floor outside of a building, and he was the second floor on top of the building looking through a hole. I peeked out like a meter or two from where that building was actually located, out to the side to see him, and I actually got him in one shot. And I was just very surprised. I was very surprised by that. I'm still surprised by it. You know, the snipers, like I said, they're in a good place. I like them. The submachine guns, I feel like, are actually pretty good too. I was using the MPX, or the GPX, or whatever it's called. But that one actually has pretty good fire rate and really stable recoil, which makes it a really good option at medium range, actually. Some assault rifles are good at medium range, but some are even better close range because of their damage and fire rate. So it's like, you can really mix and match what types of weapons you use for specific scenarios, and why I feel like closed weapons are actually the best thing in the game. Closed weapons given with universal options. I feel that it would just make the game so much better if you could not run whatever weapon you wanted in the first class slot, because I feel like that's just too pussy game design, bro. Like, I want my snipers to be the only ones that have access to bolt action high powered sniper rifles. They have to make a sacrifice, change up your gadget, change up your perk, change up your gadgets, change up your grenades even. I don't know, you probably won't, but I mean, still, you could. So I'm just saying that closed weapons just feels like a stronger design decision, and with universal options available, it wouldn't be that limiting. When I was playing the closed weapon conquest playlist, it was actually really good. Like, it was really fun to just go in there, hop in, use a DMR even, on like support. I was using the M4, which is a carbine, on the engineer class, and I thought that was gonna be broken, but having that actually be an option when I do want a slightly higher fire rate, slightly more so, slightly more high power weapon. I feel like that really gave me what I wanted, but it didn't give me too much. Like, I couldn't equip an AR, a full AR. I had to equip only the M4, only, like, I think the PDW is in there somewhere. I can only equip those types of, like, guns that may have more recoil, like, not very good at longer ranges. Some of the attachments don't really favor them very well at all. But having that option between an SMG, a carbine, a DMR, or a shotgun, I believe those are the 3 universal ones. You cannot equip an LMG, sniper rifle, or assault rifle universally, which is a very good design decision. I feel like that is the best way to play, personally speaking. And I think shotguns, no, I think I mentioned shotguns. Though the shotgun is crazy, bro. It's just so brain dead. But, so let's get into the maps and the modes and what's available. So, right here, day 1, we have Conquest, regular with open weapons, closed weapons Conquest, Breakthrough, Domination, and I think King of the Hill, but I didn't see that really. I just saw Domination. And like I said, I played closed weapon Conquest for the first couple matches because I was like, this is what I want to play. And speaking of the maps more so, Siege of Cairo, I feel like is a great infantry-based, like casual, but also like very all-out warfare kind of map where you can take it slow, you can take it, you know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna go down this lane and just chill, push up with my squad or whatever. We could also play like, okay, let's cap C, bro. We need to cap C. Go in, launch in. Ramirez, get on the guns. And there's like ATVs. I don't even know if they're called ATVs, but tanks rolling in, right? It's just like, it's classic, man. All I can say about Siege of Cairo is that it's classic. It's a classic map. Classic Battlefield map, even. However, it's a little small. It's just a little small to my taste. I prefer something like a Liberation Peak, which I think might actually be the best map in the beta. Even though Siege of Cairo, everybody was hyping it up, and everybody was like, oh, in the press release, like, oh, this was a really good map. And I agree. But I can only really do like 1 or 2 Siege of Cairos, but I need my Liberation Peaks, man. I need my fix. What's that map coming? Firestorm from Battlefield 3? I need that shit, I need these maps that are more open, but also just are very well designed to the point where you can play infantry and have a great time. You can play recon and have a great time. You can play engineer and have a great time. You can play support and have a great time because the lanes and maps and utility with your squad and moving up and pushing through specific corners and areas to overtake power positions on this large scale map where you might not even know what's going on one half side, but you just know that you're fighting your battles and shit, and you're going up with your vehicles, and there's choppers running over, like giving you bombing support, or maybe taking out some snipers. Maybe the snipers hit your chopper though, so you gotta go up and get the ladder, and you gotta go and like throw smoke or something, push up, maybe rocket down the guy with debris, and it's just a lot of moving parts, and I feel like that's what makes Battlefield so special. But seeing as how the open beta doesn't actually have any really big maps except for Liberation Peak, I can understand why people kind of fluctuate to the opinion that it feels more like COD, that it's more casual, that it's trying to appeal to people that aren't typically Battlefield fans. Because like I said, I feel like Siege of Cairo would actually be a COD player's like fantasy, bro. Like, you have this small scale map with like, it's very well designed, in short, but it also has some vehicle combat with the tanks. So it's like a teaser, kind of like, okay, this is what Battlefield is, but it's not too much. It's just the right amount for any FPS player, I feel, to get into it. And that's the whole point of this beta, I feel, is, yeah, to have the Liberation Peaks. And yeah, if you guys clamor about it, we'll add more and more remakes that are most likely larger maps. But at the same time, they're trying to appeal to a lot more people with this game. And with having maps like Siege of Cairo, what's it called, Iberian Offense, even Empire State, I feel like a lot of people are going to gravitate towards those maps, especially newer Battlefield fans that haven't really got their feet wet in these larger open scale maps, because they're brand new to the game. They just want to take it slow. Oh, boom, Siege of Cairo, you know, go in, have fun. You know, you played COD before, right? This is pretty much like it, except peak COD. If this is COD, because I saw somebody in the chat being like, you know, I got this many kills, but this stuff was like COD. If this is COD, this is peak COD, motherfucker. This is like the best. This is like what Modern Warfare 2, the most recent one, should have been. Modern Warfare 2019 was the start, and it should have been pushed further and more into that military aesthetic, more fluid combat and gameplay, which I feel like this game has over games like Modern Warfare 2019, even Modern Warfare 2. So even if it is COD, it's the best iteration of it, literally. Gameplay and combat feels so smooth, movement feels amazing. And you know, I was kind of taken aback by that comment, because it's like, then Genius, please tell everybody what game this is. If this isn't Battlefield, what game is this? Is this COD? Do you really dare compare COD Black Ops 6, the current COD, and even COD Black Ops 7, let's throw that one in there, to this? Like, how dare you, honestly? How dare you? Like, how dare you? But in short, I feel like this open beta is gonna be a great test, like a little taste. I meant to say, like a sample platter of what is to come, because I feel like all the content is spread out pretty evenly. At launch, there are gonna be most likely around 3 to 4 big maps. Liberation Peak, the other New York map was rumored to be really big. I believe there was another one that was like in the mountains again, which is probably gonna be big. And then Firestorm, the Battlefield 3 map, which is from the trailers and from past gameplay, pretty big. So that's about 3 to 4, given if that information on the mountain map is usable, and if the New York information is even usable too. Because Empire State, in my opinion, is kind of a letdown. It was like advertised as like, oh my god, New York. Like in the story, we're gonna be going to New York and huge Battlefield Warzone. Yeah. Guess what? It's only infantry. There's no tanks. And if there are, then again, it's just another map with tanks and infantry and not much else. But I don't believe there are tanks on that map. Or choppers. I mean, just add choppers. Like, literally just add choppers, bro. Just add little birds, you know? Just add small helicopters, even, that players can just get up high on the rooftops and, you know, just come on, bro. Like, come on. Add some gameplay with vehicles. Because I feel like those New York / very urban city environments are going to be so fun to traverse. And going from like Liberation Peak, this mountainous area, to now like a urban New York setting that's like very compact, and it's kind of like Siege of Cairo. They're both very urban environments, but New York is in USA, bro. Like, we're fighting on US soil. Like, this is important. And for it to just be infantry, like, I'm probably gonna play it and like it in the full release, but not to the degree that I would have if it was if it was marginally bigger. Let me put it that way. Size matters, you know? This is what I've learned today. Size matters definitely in Battlefield. And if you just can't cut it, it's for somebody else, you know? Somebody else can handle it. But we, Battlefield enjoyers, want the big ones. We only want big ones. We want long, big ones with a lot going on in the middle. So that is pretty much it. I feel like the beta is going to go over pretty well with people. People that like Battlefield will understand this fact, and even just, I mean, still be tuned in because the gameplay is so good. And if not, I mean, it doesn't really matter. If you don't like this type of shooter, even after you sleep on it, like, just sleep on it, bro. If you still don't like it after you sleep on it and be like, you know what, I was once a Battlefield fan, and now that they've returned to modern combat with, you know, at launch there being slightly smaller maps than average because I'm used to big ones, then I'm just not gonna play or bother with it at all, ever again. These are players that obviously are invested in some sort of way, so, you know, they are gonna get what they want eventually. You're gonna get the big one, you're gonna get the long big one, okay? Eventually. And, because I want it too, man. I'm right there with you. I'm right beside you on this issue. We're facing each other on this issue. And yeah, this is yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah. I mean, yeah. So I hope you have fun, like, playing the beta if you are playing it. I hope everything goes well for you. I hope you end up enjoying the beta, because it is truly there to be enjoyed. All corners of it. So yeah, bye, see ya. Sub up, pussy. So as it turns out, luckily, you know, I may cut a bit of that portion out because, you know, I was getting too, you know, heavy-handed, I guess you could say, with the message of, you know, Battlefield players, including myself, wanting big ones, big maps I'm talking about, and, you know, I'm not sorry, I'm not apologizing, but I do have more footage, thankfully, so I can talk more. Just barely looked at the size of it. It's pretty big. So, any final thoughts on the beta? Personally, I feel like the beta is a really good showing of what they're capable of. With the remakes coming, leaked, rumored, downtown from Battlefield 4, I believe. I think, wasn't that one the one with the Levolution? Or was that one the one with just buildings and highways? I don't remember. But I would say as long as they keep the remakes, the maps that everybody wants, literally, I feel like that's perfectly fine. You know, because I haven't played the old Battlefield games that much, but seeing how the map design is in that game and how that differs from this game, I feel like it'd be very interesting to explore that that difference in a very literal way, where you're kind of clashing Battlefield 6 current new maps, like Siege, what's it? Bro, it's been a while since I recorded that, sorry. Siege Karkan? No, that's the inspiration. You know what? My bad, OG. My fault, OG. But, you know what I'm talking about, Siege. So, it'd be very interesting to see that clash, that disparity between both the maps, because I feel like the new design philosophy, with somebody very prominently from a COD formal background, I forgot to mention, Vincent Pella, you know, it kind of makes sense that for him to try to bridge the gap between a COD audience and a Battlefield audience. And that's why I feel like some players may find Battlefield 6's open beta kind of jarring, because it's not so much of a matter of fact that every map is a Battlefield map. You're gonna have classic Battlefield moments on every map, even though Sieja, I forget the second. Sieja is a map that you can definitely have Battlefield moments on. As you're seeing right now, probably Iberian Offensive. See how I did that? I looked at the footage and everything. So Iberian Offensive, this map that I'm playing on right now, I feel like it's a great map. It's very nicely packed designed-wise, where there's kind of roads to go down lanes, so forth. But there's also this back area where it's like a war zone. And I remember, I think it's the gameplay you're seeing right now. You're not going to see the ending because I was too scared that my footage was going to corrupt. Thank you so much, OBS, for doing that. Thank you so much. Thank you. But in the end of the match, we actually lost this game because the team was stuck over at, I think, D. And it was a war zone over there. There was tanks, ATVs, if there were any on the map, snipers, grenades, infantry, grenade launchers being fired everywhere, rocket launcher. It was crazy. But guess what? You're not forced to spawn on D, guys. We can spawn at B. We can spawn at E. Come on. Like, are you this brain dead? It's classic Battlefield, where it's like, if you get holed up into a corner, you're not thinking of anything unique to do. You're not thinking of any strategies. Your squad's just spawning on some bullshit mulch point. You're just gonna die over and over again because it's a strategy game in Conquest. You can still lose Conquest even if you're winning, seemingly winning. You have good guns, you have good team play. But if you just position yourself wrong, you will lose. So it is very much Battlefield, you know. It's not COD. COD, I feel like you can just get away with so much. Just capping B for, in Dom, the most comparable mode, just capping B for a longer period of time, like I'd say a minute more than the enemy, and then just play the game normally, defending, you know, attacking sometimes, just retaining 2 points all at once. It's very simple strategy. It's not anything groundbreaking, but in COD, it's probably my favorite mode because it requires the most thinking out of any mode. But seeing that the Domination playlist is already here in Battlefield, and seeing as how it plays very brain-deady, you know, I'm having fun with it in the sense of, I know other people are going to be really enjoying this mode. So my cat is just... So I'm not gonna tell you why, but my cat is just going crazy right now. You heard her little bell. So she was honestly too. She was biting the shit out of me while I was playing, and I was like, no, I have to record this gameplay. I had to like lock her up, bro. But anyway, so overall, domination on this game, King of the Hill, all these like COD game modes, TDM as well. I feel like COD players are going to really like them because the map design so far, Empire State from the reveal event kind of looked a bit shaky on the small map kind of design of it. Conquest barely works on it, you know, so it's like, we'll see. But I, as a Battlefield player amongst many, want to see big and long and open and wide maps. Personally speaking, that's the experience that I want in Battlefield. That is what I will be voting for if they do any kind of poll. If they do any kind of community engagement poll where it's like, hey, you guys want bigger maps or smaller maps? I'm going bigger maps, bro. I want the big ones. But if enough COD players rise up and are like, you know what, give us some more TDM maps. And that's the thing, is that I feel like they could develop for these modes simultaneously because it is a Battlefield game at the end of the day. And let's be honest, if you're sticking around in Battlefield for Dom and TDM, you're not really gonna be like playing the game that much, but as long as you buy it, I guess that's the most important thing. So having these maps at launch that are varied and a nice spread, a nice slice of what the game can offer, I feel like will entice more players to stick around and at least buy the game, give it a chance, because it looks amazing. And they can actually introduce specific, specialized TDM maps such as what happened in, I feel, Battlefield 4, I think, or Battlefield 3, where they introduced specific TDM and domination maps. Some of them were good, some of them were bad, but they were specifically designed for them. And with this kind of gunplay and movement, dude, that would go crazy. But give them like 2 maps, 2 of these like smaller maps to specifically design for these smaller modes, but give us big boys 2 big maps. As long as it's at least a 50-50 split, 1 map that's big, 1 map that's small, never 1 big map and then 2 or 3 small maps. I swear if they do that, I'll probably be okay with it because, you know, I like to take it. But at the same time, I like to get what I want. And what I want is big ones. So hopefully DICE and EA are not absolutely like their brain is functional this time around, because the core Battlefield audience, the one that's gonna stay past like a month or 2, maybe even the first year or 2, is that core Battlefield audience with that wants that huge level style gameplay, classic remix back. Fuck it, keep this game going for 5 years at least, and at the end you'll get a sizable / way more content rich and packed Battlefield that there ever was before, and one that'll probably have a community similar to Battlefield 4 in regards to, you know, this and that and all these systems. And man, there's just too much good in this game for them to just do it wrong, you know. But they should add a server browser nearing the end of its life cycle. I feel so. But right now, it's not really that big of a priority really for them, because they're just focused on getting the game out and all that. But they should, with enough player like backlash or whatever, and keep the skins modern military. I swear if I see a Santa Claus, a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, a Nicki Minaj, a Stone Cold Steve Austin. Oh wait, maybe I mean shit. Maybe put Stone Cold Steve Austin in like a, you know, military Milsim. If I see Undertaker, maybe, I mean just maybe you could put him in some Milsim like that type shit. So it's like, you know, but at the same time, I'm not giving them ideas though, because that's for them to figure out. So yeah, I'm probably gonna pre-order that skin in a previously mentioned video, because that pre-order skin is kind of sexy. I'm not gonna lie. He's kind of looking sexy. So but that's it. The gameplay is probably over, so you're probably just hearing me in a dark void. You don't actually exist, because nobody watched this at the end. But if you did, I love you. I love you. Bye.